Hello and welcome to my brand new podcast.
Insane in the Fem Brain.
Hello everyone. Welcome to my brand new podcast, Insane in the Fem Brain, where we talk to interesting and strong, powerful women. Turns out through conversations with Jade, my wonderful girlfriend, turns out old Wilson doesn't really know much about women. Do you know what? I know a bit, and do you know what? I don't. So I thought, do you know what? Let's start again. Let's start from the beginning, and let's ask those difficult questions and have those conversations that make me uncomfortable, because I don't really know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm asking. And you'll see that as we go into the episodes. You'll see that I'm kind of tiptoeing around. I don't really know the right thing to say, which is what this is all about. It's about educating myself and hopefully some of the listeners that tune in. So my guest this week is the fantastic Carla Hall. I met Carla Hall last year when she was filming Crazy Delicious with Jade, the food program. It was like a cross between Bake Off and Willy Wonka. It was a fantastic program. And Nicholas Ekstad, Carla Hall, and Heston Blumenthal. So I got to meet these incredible people, and I got to spend some time with Carla, and she is a fantastic, incredible woman, and I wanted to find out some more. So we had her on the show. So without further ado, here's Carla Hall. Thank you for this, Carla. I really appreciate it. It's lovely to speak to you. How's Tennessee?
I'm actually in Washington, D.C.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were in Tennessee. Sorry.
Well, that's all right. I'm from Tennessee. I'm from Nashville, and we live in D.C. We also have a place in New York, but this is not the time to be there.
No, God, no. Oh, man. How's Matthew doing? Is he all right?
Matthew's doing great. He's teaching his yoga classes and meditation and cutting the grass twice a week. And
yeah, good. He's busy.
His grass. He's busy.
This is the best time to be doing yoga and meditation.
Yes. It really is. But you know what? I think it works when he's with other people. He doesn't seem to be quite as serene with me.
That's always the way. Yeah. I know a few people like that. Yeah, they're all yeah. But you know, that's like Jade and I. You know, we go off and everyone's like, "Oh, you two are great. You're great," but they're not living in the flat with us when we're hemmed in and stuck together for hours on end.
Right.
You know,
I tell people, because I've been traveling, I travel so much. I'm dating my house, my husband, my neighborhood. You know, I'm in rooms that I never spend time in. I'm like, oh, this is what this room looks like. I love this room.
It's mad, isn't it? That's been the weirdest thing with this lockdown. Is I didn't. Where we live is beautiful, but I do miss being elsewhere. You know, not that this is horrible. I just love traveling and being around and being out and busy, and you know, but we're doing it for the right reasons. We're saving lives. So
that's right. We're saving lives, and we're not wasting people's time, the essential workers in the hospitals. Honestly, if I've done this for 8 weeks and I go out there because people are careless and I get sick, I'm going to be pissed off.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
It's like running a marathon and you quit when you have 0.2 miles left.
Yes. Yeah. You'd never let that go.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's what I think. What I thought would happen is that the governments of the world would come together and go, right, let's we're in this together. Let's see what we can do. But I don't know. They're just going in different directions and not talking
Everybody
to each other.
Everybody wants to be a cowboy. Everybody wants to be the one. The egos, seriously, the egos are preventing that exact thing that you described from happening.
Exactly. And then you've got Jacinda, I can't remember her second name, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, who's just got stuck in, locked it down and went, right, this is what we're doing. That's what's happening. That's doing that. And then they're like, all right, okay, we can go back out now. Whereas we've got big blustering bags of wind just waving their dicks around. And it just, I'm not slagging off men, but it's like, come on, man,
Yep.
you're in charge. Be in charge. Do something. And just and Trump's insane.
Dude.
I don't know how you're dealing with that. I mean, we got Boris. That's bad enough.
Every night I can't watch the news at night because I get so worked up.
Yeah.
I get so but you know what? The one thing that I keep coming back to: forget all of the politics. Forget what people are doing and what they're not doing in terms of the government. But I think this is a reset for the universe, and I'm focusing on that.
Yes.
It's a total reset. And the thing is, so many people who are like, I want to go back to work. I'm so nervous. And now that things are starting to open up, they're like, oh, wait, I just settled into being at home. And now I don't want to go back yet. I'm not ready.
Yeah.
It takes that long for people to shift and change.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, yes, people here have just gone, oh, I'm on holiday now. Fuck it. I'm just going to go and I'm going to go to the beach and I'm going to have a barbecue. And there was a guy on our news the other day and he was saying all these people here, they're all drinking beer and that, but he was stood there with them drinking a beer. What are you doing? And it's people like that vote in idiots. And this is why we're in this mess. And it's frustrating. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I just despair of it all. And so I'm like you, I'm focusing on that reset for the universe, going, okay, we'll learn from this, hopefully.
Yeah, even if you emerge as an individual, if you emerge from this with a new skill set and something that you learned about yourself, something that you learned about your partner, something that you learned about your community, you were doing it right.
Yes.
I think if you focus on the external and you're not a part of it, you're going to come out of this and saying, I could have, I wished I would have, darn, I missed that opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Jade and I we really have learned a lot about each other in this lockdown. We really have, because when at the beginning we were banging up against each other, as you would. But now we've worked out. You're like, well, do you want to? Is it really worth fighting about? What are we fighting about? And you're working out. You go, oh, actually, no. I'm not annoyed about this situation. I'm annoyed about something outside, but I'm bringing it in.
Right.
Yeah. So that's we've sussed out a lot of that, which has been good.
Oh yeah, I went through that. Well, initially for the first 5 weeks, no, it was first 6 weeks, I was like, this is so great. I get to be at home. I would be traveling now. Matthew, this is so great. I get to see you. Child, Week 7 came along. I don't know if it's a 7-week itch. It was like, ugh. Why are you getting on my nerves?
Yeah. Just when that person walks in the room, you're like, nah, you've got to walk back out again.
I know. And the funny thing is, but we had to acknowledge it. Once we acknowledged it and we could laugh at it, and now we're good. Week 8 was good. Week 8 is now good, and
Excellent.
We're doing things together. It's really great.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. That's really nice. This podcast, so we do Insane in the Membrane, which is men talking about their feelings and what what it takes to be a man and all that kind of thing. And then Jade and I were talking, and she said, you don't really know a lot about women. You think you do, but you don't. And so we got talking, and we were talking about strong women that I find it difficult to talk to women. I think because I'm because of my own insecurities, or I don't know why. I just feel, I don't know. I love strong, powerful women, but I find them intimidating. And so Jade was like, why don't you go and talk to some? So here we are.
Okay.
So that's the premise. It's like, right, let's go and talk to these women that sort shit out, because you're a chef and you've been a model and you've done all these incredible things. What a life you've had. And to a lot of other men that would be intimidating. And so I wanted to have a conversation with you, and here we are.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Yeah. It's funny. My motto, or my personal mantra, is say yes, adventure follows, then growth. So for me, even with Matthew, we had this conversation. He's like, oh, you're so bossy. I'm like, no, I have an opinion and I want to move toward that thing. But you're welcome to actually say that you don't want to do it or have a conversation with me about it. And I think sometimes men feel like they're going to hurt a woman's feelings, and that's not it at all. It's an exchange. It's sort of jumping off ideas and things like that. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Okay, sometimes maybe you'll hurt my feelings, but that's okay. You should be you should be okay if we could talk about it, like why my feelings are hurt, because it may not have anything to do with you.
Yeah, I get it. It's like with Jade, because Jade's the same. Like Jade gets stuck in and sorts stuff out, and he's a powerhouse. And sometimes I think it might be the old way of, like the way that we were told to be a man. Like you got to be this way to be a real man, and the man sorts stuff out, and the man does this, and the man does that, and that all that old shit is still inside me.
Right.
So when I'm not the man, it feels odd. But do you know what I mean? And so I'm combating that all the time.
You feel like you're being emasculated because she's so independent and she can do it. She doesn't need you.
Yes, I'm going to be honest and say yes, but I do. But I don't vocalize that. I'm aware that is antiquated and it's bullshit, basically. So I battle all that old kind of masculine stuff all the time. And some men can't handle them. Some men can't. There's people I know that are in a relationship with women that are they're captains of industry, and they're again, they sort shit out, and a lot of men can't handle it. They're like, oh, why can't you just stay at home and sort the kids out and do this and do that? And,
ooh. Which is hard work too. See,
exactly.
I think
exactly.
That's hard work too. And you have all of these guys at home right now. They're like, oh, this is what you do. And now, now the mothers are like teaching, they're cooking, they're doing all this stuff. They're like, oh shoot, it's easier being out and working and making a paycheck than to actually be here and focus on the family and all of the planning that it takes to keep this machine going.
Exactly.
And I think at the end of the day, it's an undervaluing. And I think if I've learned anything from this, and it's just anything, is to appreciate all of the little things that I took for granted. Even if it was not only in my house, what it takes to set up a studio in my house and now be talent and camera person, what it takes to trim my own hair. We are having to appreciate everything that everybody does. I mean, I go out and now I see Matthew mowing the lawn like twice a week. I'm like, oh, that's why it looks so nice. Oh, that,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he does the laundry, and I'm like, he must really like doing the laundry. But honestly, if he didn't do the laundry, I would be having dirty clothes, right?
It's the same with Jade. Yeah, we wouldn't have any pants at all. We just have nothing.
Right.
Yeah. So you're right. We are we're appreciating and reevaluating everything. And I didn't realize I felt that way until I was with Jade. That kind of I should. I'm the one that's in charge. I'm the man, and it's weird. It's weird that kind of that old mindset.
But I mean, what do you even get out of it? What do you even get out of thinking like that?
Exactly. What does that? It doesn't achieve anything. Because what happens if I am left to my own device and if Jade was to go, well, go on then, you sort it out. I'll go, oh yeah, you earn more than me. I haven't got any money. You might have to deal with that. It's just she's the main breadwinner.
But so am I. But it's not even about the money, right?
No.
I mean, I'm the main breadwinner, but also I realize the roles that Matthew plays in our household.
Yes.
And so I think it's, even if you sit down and you write it down, like, what are those roles? Like, this is the thing that I do. This is the thing that you do. These are the things that I'm really good at doing. And honestly, I can't do those things that you're really good at doing. So I'm going to let you do them. And my feelings aren't going to be hurt when I try to do them and I don't succeed and you get impatient with me. I've had some of those moments too this week. Matthew was doing some stuff. I'm like, oh no, I want to try it. He's looking at me like, okay, prime example. I go out, I'm like, I'm going to be a part of this yard thing. I'm going to go out there. Okay, he cuts the grass. So I'm looking at those pine trees. It's like 9 of them. I'm looking at those pine trees. I'm like, they're taking over our yard. So I'm going to go in and cut the base of the trees off, right? And just so it can be really pretty. But before I got to that, I said, I think I'm going to cut the tips off. I had a rope. I said, Matthew, let's just go off and cut the tip off of one of those trees. They're too tall. He's like, I don't think that's going to work. I said, you haven't tried. I go out with my rope. I didn't even get changed into a T-shirt. I have on a regular shirt because it's going to be easy. I throw that rope up. I'm trying to lasso it to pull it down so we can just snip, snip. And I videotaped it. There was a video camera, and I wasn't even thinking about the video running. I went back to look at it. Matthew was standing Matthew was standing there looking at me like, this ain't gonna work, but I'm gonna let you do it, honey. I'm gonna let you do it. And I am laughing at the video. It just captured this exact thing that you're talking about. Yeah. You know, I went out to step into his role. He's like looking at me like, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I had to see it for myself. It's like, you're right. But if he had said, Carla, it's not going to work, and just beat me down, I would have just pushed and pushed and pushed. Yeah. Right? There would have been an argument.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Again, same with Jade. Jade has to find out for herself. There's no point me turning around and going, Dad, no, we're not doing it. It's not going to work. Like Matthew did, and he just sort of took a step back and went, all right. But that's the thing, isn't it? It's a partnership.
Yes.
Yes, and that's what people forget. You're in it together. It's not a battle of who's in charge and who does what. It's you working together to make this work.
Exactly. And let me fail. If it doesn't work, still let me do it. Don't just swoop in and tell me, no, this is what's going to happen, because the best parents let their kids fall.
Yes. Yeah.
So just let me fall.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because when I was married for a bit, and my ex-wife was a very strong woman as well, and it did chip away at me, at my masculinity, at me, not at my masculinity, but it you know, like I told a bit earlier, the old-fashioned way of being a man. That's when I started to realise that I had that old bullshit inside me that I had to deal with.
But you know what, Rich? At the end of the day, you're a tenderoni. You're a tenderoni, and you don't want to admit it, and you put up this big chest. And it's okay. It's okay. I tell Matthew he's a tenderoni. It's fine. You can be a tenderoni, and you can be strong when I need you to be strong, but it doesn't take anything away from you, ever.
No, that's it. Yeah, that's it. So Matthew's cool with it. Matthew's got his, That's.
But he still has his things where he wants to do this thing. It's like, Carla, even though we had that moment of him looking at me like that's not going to work, he will still want to step in and tell me like how to cut those branches. I'm like, I have my own way, and he keeps pushing back, and I'm like, you have to let me do it my own way. Because my body he wants me to hold that branch out with my arms up, but the clippers are too heavy, so I have to cut down. Yes. I can't physically do the things that he can do. And I think he forgets that. But I can be really smart and find another way that I can do it.
Well, that's it, and that's how it's been down the ages, hasn't it? That men are normally physically stronger, women are mentally stronger, but together we figure it out,
right?
And it works, and that's the thing. Where did you meet Matthew?
I met him on Match.com.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We met. I was only on there for a week, and he was the first person, actually the second person that I had reached out to, the only person that I went back and forth with. And then we went for like a look-see. Oh. And then the look-see lasted for 3 hours, and I was done. He said that he knew I was the one as soon as I got out of the car. And I had on this skirt. I said, I'm not going to iron it. I'm going to put on the T-shirt and some flip-flops. I never wear flip-flops, but I just wanted to be so low-key that I'm like, if you don't like me like this, and this is how it usually is, you're not going to like me. Yeah. So I never do the thing like, oh, let me dress up, let me put on makeup. Even my friends were like, you're going out like that? I'm like, yep. Sure am.
Because that's who you are. It's when I first saw Jade, she walked through a bar in Edinburgh at the Edinburgh Festival, and she had on the biggest rucksack I've ever seen in my life. Even I'd struggled to lift that thing, and she had on a tailcoat like a conductor, And and his white brogues, and she came stomping through the bar, like looked really angry, which I now know is just how her face sits. But she's watching me now.
That is so freaking badass, Jade. I just want you to know that I see it.
Carla doesn't know that.
She does. She sees.
Relax.
She can't hear you.
You're relaxed, but your relaxed face is.
Yeah, her relaxed face is even her relaxed face is determined. And I just saw her go through, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then we kept bumping into each other, and then we became friends, and then it morphed into where we are now. But I saw her in her natural, as she is naturally, that like you do, and it was like, oh wow, that's cool, it's scary but cool.
The one thing that I have realized, though, and I don't even know if you believe in this, but the universe will put you with a partner who will teach you the most about yourself. So
yes.
There's some times when I am so frustrated with Matthew, and I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't about him. This is about what I need to learn. And when I relax into that, it's so much easier.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, I've learned. I learned so much in every relationship I've been in.
Yeah, because that's the reason. That's school. Yeah. That's the school of Knox.
Yeah, it's true. But there are some people that aren't open to that. They just go, no, I know who I am, and this is how I do things, and I won't be changed. And you're like, but you're never going to get anywhere.
That's the short bus class. Yeah. Oh, sorry, that's not politically correct. Sorry.
No, that's all right. We don't have that term here, but I know what you mean. Yeah, but it's that you've got to be a bit more flexible and open to change, and this is why I do this. I've been doing these podcasts. It's just to learn from other people, because I knew I could be better than who I was. And the only way you can become better is by talking to people, isn't it? And learning, and like you say, finding out about yourself, which is why I wanted to do this podcast, talking to strong women. Can
I tell you something else that Matthew and I have done? And this was recently. I had done this spiritual retreat, and I learned about the Enneagrams. Have you heard about that? Enneagrams?
No, what's that?
It's ENNEAGRAM, Enneagrams, and it's about 9 different types of people. And it's a little test. I'll send it to you. It's a little test. It's about 200 questions, little short questions. It takes you about 15 minutes to do it. And it will tell you what type you are and what wing you are. So there are 9 types. So I'm a 7, wing 8. And I am all over the place. Matthew's a 9 with a wing 1, perfectionist. The one thing that we realized when we both took it and we look at these little videos that tells you about your types, it's like, oh, that's why you're like that. It gives you the language to see yourself and to see your partner. And when you're both doing it, even now, when something that would have annoyed Matthew that I'm doing, he's like, yep, there's that 7. And I'm like, yep, there's that 9. Because it's like, I'm not crazy. The one thing we just don't want to feel crazy. When I observe something, I just want to not feel like crazy when I bring it up to you and you're trying to tell me, no, that's not what I heard or what I saw. And I'm like, why are you gaslighting me? I did see that.
Yeah. Jade and I did it all the time. Jade will say, she goes, your memory that's not how that happened. And I'm like, yeah, it is. I can totally remember it. And more often than not, my brain has just completely messed with it all. And it isn't how it was at all. So that'd be interesting. I'd like to do that test. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Yeah.
The other thing that I'm thinking about, as you all are talking about memory, because I do this to Matthew also, I feel like I want to just set up some cameras and not even tell him, forget that they're there, and just see the dynamic. Because that's what happened with the tree, right? And see the dynamic, and so you can actually see yourself. We don't see ourselves.
No, and there's that. I think sometimes men feel when a woman knows her mind and is determined and does things. Some men feel like they look like those women will then look at them like they're inferior, which isn't the case. is
Right.
it? They're like, look, I'm doing this, and like you said just now, I'm doing this. I want you to come with me. Come with me and do it with me. I'm not,
Yeah.
and that's the difference, isn't it? Is that women aren't looking at you like you're a piece of shit. They're just like, look, I'm going to do this. Come with me. They're just strong and determined, and they're doing things. I haven't even got the proper vocabulary to describe what I mean, but you're not looking at men like they're inferior. You're actually going, come on, this would be better for both of us.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And can we bring up the jealousy thing? So,
Yes.
dude, I'm like, there's a guy that I met because we're doing this podcast, and he's a composer, and I found out that he lives near here, and I've been doing these live events, so it's great to understand him, and we've been co-hosting, so we've been going on these walks, and Matthew was like, "Oh, you're going on another walk, huh?" I'm like, dude, he's not even interested in women, I don't think, but why are you upset about it? Because when he goes on his bike rides with his friends and does all these things with his yoga buddies who are women, I'm like, go play. It's fine. Yeah. But when it comes to me, it's like,
yeah. That's weird, isn't it?
I don't get it.
No, because you're solid. You've got that understanding, an unspoken understanding. You're like, no, we're good. So I think like Jade, sometimes she'll get a bit, she'll be angry about, not angry with me, but she trusts me, but she doesn't trust the other person. So sometimes she'll say, no, that woman's up to something. There's a reason why she wants to hang around with you and be your friend. And it's not because she just wants to be your friend. She wants something else. So there's that.
Now,
sometimes.
I have to say, Matthew has that little radar too.
Right.
I don't. I'm never thinking, because I'm not thinking that way. I'm not thinking that they're thinking that way.
The same. I'm exactly the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't even cross my mind. Like Jada go, she's flirting with you, and I'm like, is she? I don't know. I don't, because I'm not there. I'm not in that space.
Right.
Yeah. It doesn't occur to me.
So I think that what I've learned from this that you said about Jade, I do have to listen to him. So I have to say, okay, I am aware that this could be a thing. So I will make sure that I'm on alert, but I won't stop the walks. But if something goes untoward, or I have to say things to make sure that it is not misunderstood.
Yes. That's yes. I've been in that situation where, like I said, I thought it was innocent, but then certain things get said, and then I've had to tell them, I go, listen, this is making Jade uncomfortable, and then they got a bit moody about it. They were like, oh well, my husband's not moody about it. What's her problem? And you're like, okay, listen, this has to stop now.
Right.
Yeah, and that's it. But
she sent you a picture of her cleavage.
it wasn't her cleavage.
Okay.
There was a woman.
It was her cleavage, Carla.
It was. She was sending me a picture of her dress.
Oh.
I'd written a thing about positivity and feeling better, and I'd mentioned clothing in it. And then I was talking to her, and then but like I say, I wasn't in that space where I was thinking, oh, that's flirty. I was like, oh, she looks cool. And that was it. It wasn't until Jade saw it, and she went, no, that's not on. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. Because it didn't even occur to me.
Yeah.
So I'm more aware now. In fact, I think I'm too aware, which isn't a bad thing, is it?
No, it's not a bad thing. But it goes back at the end of the day, a partnership. The reason that two people come together is not because they both have the same qualities and strengths and gifts. There are gifts and qualities and strengths that complement each other. And so what we have to be reminded of, and you're reminding me of this, is when Matthew does something and I am annoyed or riled up by it, that is the key. That is something that I have to learn about myself. If I'm indifferent, it's not about me. If I am riled up, it is about me. It is my lesson. And that's what I have to pay attention to.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. But when I've been in relationships before and they've sort of, because you have to work at them, don't you?
Yeah.
And then after, when it takes more work, instead of me putting more work in, I've usually gone, I'm not I'm not feeling this, and then I'll go and meet someone else, or I'll just leave. Whereas this time I've actually gone, no, I'm going to work at this one. I want this to work, and that's recognizing that you need to make an effort is something that I think some people don't realize. They just think it's going to be plain sailing all the time, and it isn't.
No, this is the school of Knox. The relationship is the school.
Yes. Definitely.
And if you sit there and if you don't massage it and treat it and listen to it and feel it, you're not going to get anything out of it. And then you're going to be in the same place years later. And that's when people are unhappy. And that's when people have affairs. And that's when people just start getting angry and, things go awry.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of anger in other relationships. And it's because it's not actually... It's because you're not dealing with things, isn't it? You're looking elsewhere, so you're creating more problems, and you're bringing those into the house, and you're piling it on top of the fact that the relationship isn't working quite as it should, and it just becomes a mess, doesn't it? But I think I don't know. Maybe it's with age. Maybe as you get older, I feel more comfortable voicing my thoughts and feelings to Jade than I have done before.
You seem like you're doing a really great job. I mean, even doing this podcast.
I'm giving it a go.
We're looking for a sponsor to help get this brilliant conversation to an even bigger audience. Sponsoring the show, as well as a promotional trailer, means that your message and our message will be inserted into some of Acast's biggest podcast titles. Get on board and partner with Insane in the Fembrain. Go to pauldaniels.tv for more information.
So you're currently in Washington.
Yeah.
But you're from Tennessee. Mm-hmm. So you started in Tennessee. And were you a model first?
No, actually, I wanted to do theater. And then I ended up majoring in accounting when I went to college. And then I worked for Price Waterhouse, and it was Big 8 at the time. Yeah. Hated it. And then I quit, and I ended up moving to Paris, as one would do, because I had met these girls. I was modeling in college and doing some shows and stuff, and I met these models who were moving to Paris, and I said, I'm going to do that. I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to move to Paris. And that's what I did. And it was actually in Paris that I fell in love with food. Then I ended up moving to London. I was still modeling, and I was living in Southeast, I forget the name of the neighborhood, but I was living there for about a year, and then I ended up coming home. But the thing that stuck wasn't the modeling, it was the food. Yeah. And so I started a lunch delivery service as a complete fluke. Like I said, it's like say yes, adventure follows, then growth. Yeah. I went to take a friend some lunch, and we had a conversation before. I'm like, well, there's nothing to eat around there. And so she's like, she said, well, you should bring me lunch. And the next day I brought her lunch, but I made a bunch of stuff and I put it in a picnic basket. And she said, this is my friend Carla. She has a business. And I was like, what? And so and then without saying what, they said, what's the name of your business? I looked down at the picnic basket that just was holding a bunch of random food items. And I said, the lunch basket. And they said, when are you coming back? And I said, tomorrow. And so the next day I went back, but I went to another business. Within a week, I had 7 clients. Within 2 weeks, I had 14. And that's what I did for 5 years. I was the lunch lady.
What? You just like that? That's incredible.
Yeah.
So you'd been cooking before?
I literally started cooking when I was in Paris and London. I started when the socialization that took place in the kitchen. I was like, oh, this is what people are doing. I wasn't interested in the kitchen. I was outside. I was not cooking. My mother didn't really enjoy cooking, so I wasn't cooking. But I started buying cookbooks and just playing, and I was sleeping on people's couches. So it was a way for me to say thank you for letting me sleep on your couch. And I started just making food for them. And that's how it all started. I remember getting my first, one of my first recipes out of The Guardian. It was scones. It was a scones recipe. Oh, yeah. And I adapted that recipe now for a lighter biscuit, what we call our Southern Biscuits, and I
Yes.
still use it today.
Wow, from The Guardian.
Yeah.
Wow, I thought that kind of recipe was like handed down through families, through
I
generations.
mean, it's tweaked. It's tweaked based on what my grandmother did, because obviously it wasn't buttermilk, and I do a lamination, but the base of the initial recipe that I used for my Southern Biscuits was a scones recipe in the Guardian.
Wow, that's amazing. And you just went off and did it. You just started it. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. And I didn't go to culinary school until I was 30. So I went to culinary school at 30. So a lot of times people think, oh, you've been cooking all your life. And no, I went to culinary school at 30, and then I did a show called Top Chef when I was 44. I was 44 when I did that show.
So you've just found your niche. You found you just had an affinity with food, and off you went, which is amazing because that's such a different, what a life compared to being with in the corporate world.
Oh my gosh, yes.
How was that? That obviously you didn't like it. It must have been horrendous.
I was so stressed. I mean, I was working all the time, and I was always feeling scared and like the other shoe was going to drop. That is a terrible feeling.
Yeah.
It's a really terrible feeling to go. I mean, I felt like that on the Chew too. When I was on the Chew the first 3 years, I thought I was going to get fired. But I think I feel that way, and it goes back to relationships. When you are learning, you're uncomfortable. And so the thing that Top Chef taught me was being comfortable with the uncomfortable. And that is where my strength lies. And I can be in a room and I can look at somebody. If I'm uncomfortable, I am going to figure out why I am uncomfortable.
That's excellent. Yes. I saw a video of David Bowie the other day, and he was saying like, just go into the water, but just go out a little bit further than you normally would.
Yeah.
Just when you get to that point where your feet are nearly not touching the floor, that's when you'll come up with that's when you'll find out about yourself and you'll learn stuff. And that's exactly what you've just said. That's brilliant, of course, because sometimes I do these, and if I don't really know the person or my head's not in the right place, and I don't really know, I know what I want to get to, but I don't. But I can feel myself getting uncomfortable. You've just hit the nail on the head. That's beautiful. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
it.
You don't learn anything from just staying the same. Of course.
A really simple way of doing it. Let's say if you have a headache, if you get a headache or a stomach ache, just sit with it and observe it. This is the simplest way to do that. You have a headache, you're like, oh, where's my headache? It's on the left side of my head. Just look at it. I mean, just observe it. That is the best way to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. I'm not talking about a migraine, but just look at the feeling of being uncomfortable. A mild sense of being uncomfortable. And that is what it's like just to be out in the world. If you go to a party, you're like, you know what? I'm going to talk to somebody who has on pink. I'm going to talk to somebody who has on orange or who has on an interesting tie. I'm just going to walk up to them. Make it a game.
Yeah. That's where a lot of people's sadness comes from, isn't it? Where they don't push themselves. They just give in, or not give in, but they kind of go, everything's, this is all right. This is comfortable. But then they have a sadness in their heart that they haven't tried something, or they didn't accept that invitation to that party or whatever. And then that stays with them, and that becomes regret. And I feel for those people that lug that around. I would have been the same. I would have. There's been many occasions where I could have gone, oh, this will do. I don't want to make a fuss.
Right.
You know, but there's something in me that makes me go, no, go for it. Go and do it. Go and talk to that person that scares you. Go and to that, go to that party that you don't know anyone.
Yeah.
But some people just don't have that, do they?
No, the thing is that when I don't want to do something and something is telling me to do it and I push myself to do it, I'm so glad that I did it.
Yes. Same. Absolutely the same. Like, again, to use Jade as an example, Jade gets nervous whenever she's doing a new project, like a new TV show, or, she doesn't know the people that are there. And so I'll get a load of messages going, I hate this, I hate them, I don't want to do this, it's going to be rubbish, oh my God. And then, but now I understand it's just nerves.
Yeah.
And I know that the next day I'm going to be getting messages going, this is the best thing I've ever done. And
Okay,
it happens every time.
Right. Point in case, when I first met Jade doing Crazy Delicious, well, first of all, I'd already, stalked her and I'd seen videos and I was like, oh my God, I love her. I want to be her best friend. And then when we met and she comes in with that bright lip and the hair and the glasses, I'm like, yes, I love her so much. It was instant.
Yeah, and she's the same. She was the same with you. But the initial traveling in, and she's like, I don't know these people. I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh my God, it's that feeling inferior. I don't know. Like you all look super successful, and this was a new world to Jade. But then after she'd spent time with you guys, she came away going, no, these people are brilliant, because you didn't make her feel inferior. You made her welcome.
Absolutely.
The best month of my life.
Do you want to do this?
Oh my God, it was so good. But even still, though, I felt as an outsider, I was the only American, right?
Right.
And here I was with these Michelin star chefs. So I had my own thing about that. I had my own thing about coming into this situation where I felt like an outsider. Why me? Because there are these Michelin star chefs, and I know myself well enough to know that I'm not going to come in acting like I'm all this and that. I'm going to bring my sense of my style and cooking and Southern perspective, right? So, but how is it going to be received? But everybody was so nice. They were so nice. And it was such a great experience.
It was amazing seeing how you lot gelled really quickly. And there weren't any egos. There wasn't that kind of, I'm better than you, I'm this, I'm that. Like you said, about there were Michelin stars flying around and there was this and there was that. But there was, you all sort of came to it with the same kind of energy, which was really interesting to see.
Yeah, and you know what? At the end of the day, you know what it was? It was respect.
Yes,
and in every relationship, any kind of relationship, you have to come with respect.
It's so true. It's respect for the people you're working with, respect for the person you're in a relationship with. Mm-hmm. And that's something that people don't think about. I know from experience, it's always about what I wanted out of a relationship. I had expectations. I'm like, I require this and this and this from a relationship. And when I get this and this and this, I will then give that and that.
Right.
And that's so disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I was at. Yeah. Oh man. What a great, yes. See, I'm glad we did this. You've nailed it.
And then boom, drop the mic.
That's it. Yeah. Later, we're done. It's true, isn't it? Respect is so important, and not many people think about it. It's all very kind of like, what does this relationship do for me? Yes.
That's right. But I think another thing is there's always the backstory, because with respect, I trust that you're making decisions based on your backstory and the things that have led you to this point. So if you share your backstory with me, so if you're telling me that you have this whole machismo thing going on and the perspective of what you think a man's role is, that is your backstory. But if you don't share that with me and talk to me about it, I have no idea.
Yes.
So I have to infer why you're being this way.
Yeah.
And those assumptions create problems.
Yes. There's that saying that assumption is the mother of all fuck-ups.
Yeah.
Because you don't talk to each other. Yeah. I've learned so much from just being honest. I wasn't a lying sack of shit, but I wouldn't speak my mind, or I wouldn't say I was truly feeling, because I didn't want to offend. Right. I didn't want, and so there was a dishonesty that I think people they got that energy from me from when I was younger. They kind of felt I wasn't an honest person. I wasn't, it was just, I just wasn't being honest, and people can feel that, can't they?
Yeah, you were being polite. Polite is not honesty.
No.
Polite, it can be deceitful in a way. Pleasantries. And and you're not telling somebody the truth. I mean, for me, with all of my friends, I'm like, I want you to tell me when I stink. I will give you that respect to tell you when you stink.
And that's it. It's just by talking to each other.
Yeah.
And that's the key to relationships, isn't it? Is that if you speak your mind, you're like, it goes back to being a partnership, doesn't it? If you're in a decent partnership, that person will be open to you talking to them.
Well, the great thing is you were in grade school for a while, you know. Now, where are you? Are you in middle school? Are you in high school? You're not in college yet. I can hear that. But so where are you?
I got a long way. I'm still on that short bus.
You're not on the short bus. You're not on the short bus. You where do you think you are? Where do you think you are?
I don't know. I feel like I'm starting again. I feel like I'm starting from scratch, which I think I've put myself in that position. I've gone, right, let's start from the beginning and then work our way forward.
But you can't because you can't. I mean, you aren't in the beginning because you've learned from your other relationships, which you needed those. This relationship with Jade needed those relationships. Matthew was married before. I had no idea how to be married. I got married for the first time at 42. I had no idea how to be married, but I knew he did. And I was willing to learn from his knowledge of how to be married. It took me 5 years to be a we. I was like, mine, my house. It took me 5 years. Now we've been married for 14 and I'm more of a we. I mean, still, we were driving and I took out a pack of gum and I took my piece out and put it back in my purse. He was like, oh, I don't get one? I'm like, look. And the funny thing is, I actually made up a reason why I put it back in my purse. At the end of the day, I just didn't think about him. But I said, no, I thought you were doing this diet thing and you weren't eating gum and using sweeteners. I thought it was elaborate. Yeah. I mean, the ruse was elaborate.
Yeah.
Basically, I was being thoughtless.
Yeah, that's it. And if you'd have just gone, sorry, babe, I just wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
But instead, you turned to this Harry Potter novel.
Yes. Over a piece of gum.
Yeah, I know. Because you didn't want to offend him. You didn't want to offend him.
I was embarrassed. I was actually, at the end of the day, I was embarrassed that I wasn't thoughtful. Matthew is so thoughtful that I'm like, I wasn't thoughtful again.
This is why you and Jade got on, because Jade sometimes is like that. I get really upset when Jade is a bit thoughtless, and it's not her fault. She's got a lot going on, and she's not because she doesn't care about me.
Right.
She's just doing her thing. It's not personal, and that I've learned not to take it personally.
Yes.
Like, that's the difference. Like when she'll come into the room with a sandwich, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not having a sandwich then, and it's like, but that happens very rarely. Very rarely.
I never do that.
That's an example. One example.
Find a real example.
I was trying to think of one.
Like that, I will do that. I swear I did. I actually did that last week. I made this big meal. I was making it for this show, and I said, oh my God, it was so good. I cut up these greens and I sauteed them, and Matthew's like, oh, that's going to be, she's going to share half of it. And then he went upstairs for like 5 minutes. He came down, it was gone. He's like, where is it? I'm like, where's what? I mean, I had forgotten. It didn't cross my mind. I was so focused on trying out this dish that it wasn't really about eating. For me, it wasn't about eating the dish. It was about testing the dish.
Yeah. That's it. You were in a different place.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think because Jade's because she's a force of nature, so she barrels through life and she's just grabbing stuff, using it, tossing it to one side. So I'm forever walking around going, have you seen the tweezers? Have you seen the nail clippers? Have you seen the thing? And I do that all day. And then sometimes I'm like, can you just put it back where it was? And then we know where it is. It's that I've learned not to take personally. That's
But-
that's a yeah.
Now that said, Jade, because I know she can hear me.
She can't hear you. Yeah, I've got headphones on. but
Okay, well
she-
tell
yeah,
her.
yeah.
Oh, that's right. She can only hear you.
Yeah.
So that would be her lesson to learn. That's where she has to say, okay, let me put these back, because that's a good rule. And I've had to learn that because I have the same energy that Jade does. So I have learned to try to put things back, because there are 100 things going on in my head. I bet Jade is a 7. I bet she is.
She
There's 100
sounds it.
things,
Yeah.
right, going on in my head, and I lose things. We were just looking for some greeting cards that we bought. I'm like, oh, they're in the magazines. He's like, where are the magazines? Oh, I don't know where those are though. But that's
Yeah. Yeah. I have to be aware of where my stuff is and Jade's stuff.
yes, that's
Just
Matthew.
because-
Oh
yeah,
my God, yes.
And I'm not being bossy or controlling. It's just when you want to use something, you want to go into a drawer and there it is.
Yeah.
But like you say, it's because, Jade says, oh, it's because I'm a creative. So, I'm creating all the time. Like you, your brain is just, there's a million things ricocheting off each other constantly. She hasn't got time to worry about where the tweezers are.
But she should.
Yeah.
But because that's her gift to you.
Yes. That is her gift to me.
Right. I mean, it's a two-way street. I mean, it's one thing. So, I mean, it's a yin and yang thing, isn't it? So, and so for me, like when I make things, I'm like, okay, I have to think really hard and be very conscious of, I'm making this, let me make more for Matthew. I mean, I know I'm using that as an example. I'm not bitchy like that, but I have to slow down and say, what would he want? What does he need? Because that is not my natural makeup.
No.
And now I'm very friendly, but it's just not, because I'm on to the next thing. It's just not my natural way of thinking.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to communication, doesn't it?
Yes.
Having that to go. So look, this is me, and and they go, oh yeah, okay, I get it, and this is me, and they go, okay, cool. How can we put these two bits of the jigsaw together so they fit? And that's the difference, isn't it? And it's whether you want to make it work as well, isn't it?
Right. And if that little thing is important to you, then you have to make that important. So all the other little things, you have to pick your battles. Like if that putting things back is important to you, you have to communicate that.
Yes.
Because as a person who loves you, I will really try to do that.
Yeah, we've had many conversations like that where I've gone completely wrong and I've not said anything and I've let it build up, and then I'll explode about toilet roll or just something, something innocuous or stupid, and she's like, "Why are you freaking out about toilet roll?" I'm like, "It's not the toilet roll; it's what it symbolizes."
Right.
And what I should have done is said something before, so it didn't get to that point, and that's the key, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm glad. I knew this would be a great chat. Because you and Jade are very similar. You are. And it's, Jade, Jade's got into her cooking since she was into her cooking anyway, but since Crazy Delicious, it's just gone off on another level. And while we've been locked down, the stuff that Jade has been creating has been incredible, and that's what she's doing now. She's bought a KitchenAid, and she's bought all this stuff, and now we've got this incredible kitchen. Yeah. And I got her a skillet for her birthday, which I know people went, why have you bought her a frying pan? I'm like, it's not a frying pan, it's a skillet.
That's right. It's a difference.
Exactly. But that's what makes her happy. And so she's just in the kitchen constantly creating all these wonderful things. So she hasn't got time to worry about where the tweezers are. It's just, she's doing these other stuff. And so I've got to go, do you know what? I'm benefiting from her wonderful newfound creativity.
Yeah.
I'll worry about the tweezers.
Yeah. And see, there you go. Right.
Yeah.
It's that picking your battles and everything. I love, so Jade and I made biscuits together when I was in my little,
that's it. That's why she's got. That's it. Yes. That's why I got her the skillet, because she didn't stop talking about, because the biscuits were incredible. I'm going to tell you that now. We had them, and I got her the skillet because she didn't stop talking about it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I want her to be making some cornbread. Did she ever make the cornbread?
Yeah, I think she did. Did you make the cornbread? You did, didn't you?
Oh my God, did I make that cornbread?
Yes, she did.
And tell her I'm making today.
You're making biscuits. Oh, she's making biscuits today.
Oh my gosh! Send me a picture.
You need to send her a picture.
I will.
Yeah, she will.
No, you know what I'd like to do? Okay, so with you all, let's just make a promise right here that we will cook together on Zoom or something.
Oh, that would be amazing. Yes,
Yeah.
let's do that. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, that'll be super fun. Okay.
So you've got your head around the lockdown, and Matthew and you are cool, and you're figuring it out. Are you planning? What's happening? Are you planning for the future? And
I have a lot of shows that are just waiting to be filmed when production starts again. I actually sold a show to for Discovery ITT, but it's in the Discovery family with Food Network. So I'm excited about that. And I am designing textiles. I was planning to do a whole food line, but because the food supply chain is breaking down, it's just not a good time. So I have shifted and just using my creativity to create these patterns for textiles and products. So I'm super excited about that.
yeah, wow, that sounds incredible. See, always the same as Jade. She's definitely a 7. Because
I bet she is.
there's always something. She's looking at me like, no, we're not talking about looks. That's a different
Oh.
scale. She's giving me the evil look. I'll explain in a minute. Because all she can hear is me going, oh yeah, she's a 7. Oh my God.
Jade is a 10 all day long.
She is a 10, definitely a 10. Yes. But this has been amazing, Carla. Where can we find you online? Are you on social media at all? And
Yes,
things like that?
I'm on Instagram at Carla P. Hall, Carla Patrice, Carla P. Hall. And I'm on Facebook, Chef Carla Hall. I'm on Twitter, Carla Hall. So yeah. And,
Brilliant. And Crazy Delicious goes on Netflix very soon.
Yes, I can't wait. I can't wait.
I tell you what, seeing you guys, seeing behind the scenes, and then seeing the finished product when it came out on the TV, wow! It was. I had such a good time in the short time that I did see you guys. And you're just wonderful people. And I have to tell you, I fell in love with Matthew.
Oh, he's so great. And again, the reason Jade and I clicked because we're very similar, and you and Matthew are very similar. So when I met you, I'm like, I know you. I mean,
Yeah.
I know your essence.
Yeah, that's it.
You know.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
It was really fun, and I hope that we get to do it again because learning, because it was such a new kind of show to do, and I think that we all just want to do it better, and the production team was great, and it was just fantastic.
I think hopefully, if it gets another series, they'll trust you, won't they? You can put your own stamp on it, because you know what it is now. So I can't wait to see it. I reckon it'll happen for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Thank you
Carla,
for inviting me to do this.
This has been amazing. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. It's been really
so
cool.
welcome.
Thank you. And please give my love to Matthew.
I will. Hugs to Jade.
Produced by Paul Daniels at pauldaniels.tv.
I'm Amy.
I'm Louise.
Join us for your next episode.
And today, personally, I'm completely overexcited to be in the home of Arabella Weir.
My mother, on her deathbed, literally goes, have you any idea how fattening mayonnaise is?
God.
And I went, Mum, you're dying. And she went, yes, but you're eating mayonnaise. And I went, well, we both know which you think is worse.
We're at the News Building, home of the Times and the Sunday Times, to interview Lorraine Candy.
She just looked at me, my eldest, and said, what would you know about fashion? Oh my God. Literally my job. For the last 30 years. Oh, wow. God.
Join us for your next episode.
Buy your favourite podcast app.
Thank you for contributing to the conversation as well, because your podcast is great, and I listen to it on the way to work.